Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's first video. Doing GMA Friday for today's first video. So this was on a Friday. We have a look at weather for the next 4 weeks with Japanese and CFS B2 miles, and I shall get on with it for you very shortly. Just say that coming up later on today, I'll have a 10 to 14 day, which will include all our regular features. So yeah, that'll be coming up later on this afternoon. Right, so if you're enjoying the content, please like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment, let us know what you think. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. We're going to start off with the JMA 500 millibar height anomalies from the North Pole view down. So, of course, the North Pole of the Arctic is just there, or somewhere around there anyway. And they've got the mid-latitudes around here. So blue is extrapolating to below average heights, which is low pressure. Yellow, orange and red extrapolate to above average heights, which is high pressure. These are broken down into weekly periods, and the first weekly period will take us from the 12th through to the 19th of March. So the coming week looks relatively anti-cyclonic actually, with higher pressure to our west and southwest. Should be a reasonable amount of dry weather coming up next week, but low pressure will be out in the Atlantic and also to our east and northeast as well. So the jet stream is going to be doing something a little bit like that. And so despite the higher pressure signal, we do actually keep wind in from quite a coolish direction. We'll be bringing in the wind around the ridge of like a west to northwesterly direction. So I wouldn't expect it to be particularly warm. In fact, it could be quite chilly. But it should be drier. We should have a drier spell as we go through next week. Week 2 is going to take us from the 19th to the 26th of March. This week we'll have low pressure then to the north and northwest of the country, higher pressure to our west-southwest. So we're more or less going into like a flat westerly type flow. So that's a little bit more of a typical type scenario. We'll bring the driest weather into the south, wettest weather into the north. But probably all areas will get some rain at times, and as I say, winds will be in from like a flat westerly direction. Perhaps a little bit milder in week 2 compared to week 1. And then weeks 3 and 4 look like this. It takes us from the 26th of March through to the 9th of April. So we've got lower pressure up towards Greenland and Iceland, then some higher pressure over towards southern parts of Scandinavia into eastern parts of Europe. Otherwise, quite difficult to decipher what is happening. I suspect we're probably still in quite a flat westerly flow. It's a 2-week anomaly, so it could be a little bit transitional, maybe starting off rather unsettled in week 3 and then building into some higher pressure as we go through to week 4. Something like that could be going on there. Let's have a look at the tropical mid-latitude view. So we can't see the Arctic, Greenland, North Pole, Scandinavia. All those areas are off the chart up here. But we've had a look at that view down, so we know what's going on. British Isles is in the top right-hand corner of the chart as you're looking at it. So again, reminder of that week 1 500 millibar height anomaly with high pressure to our west-southwest, low pressure is up here, and also to our east and northeast, and the jet stream and wind direction and wind flow is probably doing something a little bit like that. So the temperature anomaly is actually milder than average, which I'm a little bit surprised about, because based on that high pressure sitting to our southwest, I would have thought we'd bring in like a northwesterly flow, but Molly's saying no, it's actually going to be quite a mild week coming up with significantly above average temperatures. I am really dubious about that temperature anomaly. I don't think it'll be anywhere near as mild as that is shown, but there we go, that's what the model is predicting for week 1. The precipitation anomaly looks like this. So a little bit drier than average, which you'd expect with high pressure sitting just to our west and southwest. But I am very, very dubious about that temperature anomaly. That's like 2 degrees above average with the temperature anomaly. If you go back to the 500 millibar height anomaly, I mean, I suppose we could be drawing up a southwesterly flow, but to me that looks like it would be more sort of west-northwest. So I have no idea why it's going that mild with the temperature, but we shall see. Maybe it is going to turn very, very mild next week. There's absolutely no sign of that within the shorter range model output, I don't think, but there we go, that's what Molly's showing. Week 2 looks like this. It's the 19th to the 26th of March, with high pressure then to our west-southwest, low pressure to our north-northwest. Winds look flat and westerly. Temperature anomalies have reduced to be closer to, but still slightly above average in week 2. Precipitation is still relatively dry, actually, despite being in like a flat westerly flow. We still come away with a relatively dry precipitation anomaly. And we have that rather strange looking at weeks 3 and 4, 500 millibar height anomaly. The temperature anomaly for weeks 3 and 4 from the end of March into April overall looks a little bit on the mild average side, but not a particularly big deviation. And the precipitation anomaly looks a little bit wetter than average for the north, nearer normal further southwards. Right, so that's JMA. Now let's see how the CFS V2 compares. Again, these are 500 millibar heights broken down into weekly periods. The first week period takes from the 12th to the 18th of March. The coming week with the CFS V2 has low pressure over and to the east. High pressure is out to our west. And it looks like we'll be pulling in quite a cold northwesterly to almost northerly wind there. Again, we've got lower pressure towards Greenland. So there's a trough there, there's a ridge just there, and then there's another trough there, which means the jet stream and the wind flow will do something a little bit like that in week 1. Looks like it would be quite cool to me. Week 2 is the 19th to 25th of March with high pressure to our north, low pressure to our south, winds in probably like an east or a northeasterly direction. Turns more settled, but I would have thought that's still quite cold with winds coming in from the northeast. Week 3 is the 26th of March to the 1st of April. High pressure centred up towards Scandinavia, but a ridge building down into the west of Europe. I mean, the main wind direction is probably still easterly or northeasterly here, but with the high pressure ridging down into UK, does at least probably promise something a little bit sort of milder or nearer normal by day, but by night could still be a little bit on the chilly side. And then go through to week 4, and this is still looking quite chilly actually. This is the 2nd through to the 8th of April. The high pressure then is away to our northwest, which keeps the wind direction in from like a northerly or northeast direction. I explained yesterday, but any time we're on sort of this side of a ridge, you have a ridge to our west. So any time we're on the eastern side of the ridge, we'll keep the wind in from the north. If you want warm or hot weather, you want to get the ridge to our east through here and be on the western side of the ridge, and then we draw the wind up from the south. But in that scenario, we're going to be on the cool side of the ridge even into the early part of April. So the CFS looks relatively chilly to me. Let's have a look at the temperature anomalies. So the week 1 temperature anomaly with CFS from the 12th to the 18th of March is near normal, not particularly cold, just to our east. It is significantly below average, however. Week 2 goes colder. This is the 19th through to the 25th of March, and the temperature anomaly event, especially for England and Wales, is below average. And look how significantly below average it is just to our east in those blue colours. That's taking the temperature across much of continental Europe to 3 degrees or more below average. So quite a cold, wet week coming up there in week 2. And we do tap into some of that, especially across England and Wales. Week 3 is the 26th of March, 1st of April. We go closer to average with the temperature then. And then week 4 is the 2nd to the 8th of April. Again, quite close to average. But if anything, still a little bit on the cool side of average, really, through much of Northern Europe. And then lastly, precipitation-wise, we look like this. It's week 1, 12th to 18th of March. Precipitation anomaly near normal to a little bit wetter than average for England and Wales. Drier than average in week 2, 19th, 25th of March. All areas become drier than normal. Week 3 is close to average, 26th of March to 1st of April. Close to, or perhaps hinting at being a bit on the dry side. And week 4, 2nd to the 8th of April, is also close to, or perhaps hinting at being a little bit on the drier side. The temperatures definitely look suppressed with the CFS compared to the JMA. I think the JMA is overdoing that week 1 temperature on me. I do not think the temperature this week is going to be anywhere near as warm as the JMA is showing. But we shall see about that. beyond that, I think the signals are looking quite chilly here, really, through the rest of March. Anyway, there's no sign to me within this of anything particularly notably warm coming up this side of April. Really, it all looks rather cool, and although we may transition to something a bit drier, so not as unsettled as it is right now, we probably will transition to something drier for the second half of March, probably staying quite chilly. And then where we go to April, it remains to be seen. But even then, there's no sign of anything particularly warm coming up as we go into April today. So yeah, quite a cool outlook, really, quite a cool outlook, you know, and that's a continuation of what we've had through the winter, which was a cooler winter. Whilst it wasn't desperately cold down the south, it was definitely a cooler winter, very much a teaser winter, and it looks like this is all carrying on into the spring now as well. Right, so it's just a snapshot though of what these models are showing. They could all look very, very different next week. That's always the caveat. Right, be back later on your 10 to 14 days, so come back for that then. But for JMA Friday for this week, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.